This is a story called The Toys We Loved and Lost. I was born in 1972 and growing up during the 70s and 80s was just magical. We may not have had much, but in a way we had everything. We had our imaginations, our toys and our friends, and we played on the streets until the street lights came on. Unlike kids of today, we didn't have unlimited TV channels and we didn't have all the digital gadgets such as mobile phones, tablets, iPads and game consoles. We just played until it was time to go in. I remember when I was little I had a doll's pram. For my 5th birthday I got a kitten and I used to put her in my doll's pram, wrapped in a blanket and take her for walks. Of course, I put my dolls in the pram too. I have a big rabbit today in my bedroom called Bobby Bunny that I got for Christmas when I was about 7 years old. He has checkered paws and tummy and he came with a matching Cook's hat and apron. I had a couple of Cindy dolls and a Cindy caravan, but I don't think I had the Cindy car. I had a Tiny Tears, as did my big sister Lisa. I'd take her in the bath with me and when I lifted her out of the water she'd wee. I also had a Girls World styling head and I used to do her hair and makeup and make her look pretty. When I was 10.5 years old, my parents bought me a Peppo doll. She came wearing blue and white checkered dungarees and a white shirt with a checkered collar, short sleeves and checkered around the edges of the sleeves. I still have her, minus her fingers and toes, which the dog I used to have chewed off when she was a puppy. She sleeps in my bed 24/7 unless I take her out. Her name's Caitlin Isabella Ann. I called her that because I like the name Caitlin. My nana was called Isabella but known as Bella, and my mum's middle name is Ann. I got her for Christmas as I nattered my parents for her. A year later, when I was 11.5, my nana got me a knitted Care Bear for Christmas and I called her Bella. I'll never ever part with her, my doll, or my Bobby Bunny. I had lots of board games such as Guess Who, Operation, Frustration, Snakes and Ladders, Hungry Hippos, Pac-Man, which was my favourite, and many more. I had the roller skates that expanded to your size and you had to wear your shoes with them and they were a death trap but they were also lots of fun. Also, when I was about 10.5 years old, maybe younger, my parents also bought me my first pair of roller boots, which were yellow with stripes on the side. I had the Space Opera, which was so much fun. I really wanted the Cabbage Patch doll with the bald head, but I never got her. I remember some of my friends had this ball thing. The ball was in the middle and it had like these foot things around it and you stood on them and bounced. I wanted one but I never got one. I did get Pogo Sticks, which was another balance and bounce toy. I could never do it but I had great fun trying. I could go on forever but I won't. I'm now going to share with you the stories that other people have shared with me. Facebook. I love my Tiny Sears doll and I also wanted a Poochie dog and a Mr. Freeze but I never got them. At Facebook. At 65 I still have many of the toys I was given as a child. I have battling tops, decimal shopping and sum it up to the days before decimalisation Arnold Palmer's Pro Shot Golf, and several others. Facebook. Well, my favourite was my Tiny Tears that I got in 1967 when I was 5. I got the Mousetrap game, which I didn't like because it took too long to set up. Facebook. I had all the Masters of the Universe toys, including Snake Mountain and Castle Grayskull, and I had a Boglin. Facebook. My cousin Margaret got a doll for her birthday and she called it Richard. I kept saying that I wanted a Richard doll for Christmas. It was on the top shelf in Woolworths. I pined for that doll with the flaxen hair and soft body. Then one day we walked into the shop and she was gone. I was heartbroken, and it was just before Christmas. On Christmas Day, that doll was my present. 64 years later, I still have her. I called her Catherine. She has some hair missing. I really thought it would grow back. We needed straw for Jesus in a manger, and her hair was the perfect colour. She has gnawed fingers and her head was resewn several times. I still love her. Facebook. I had a toy clock back in the 1970s that played the tune My Grandfather's Clock. Loved it. It may have been from Fisher-Price. Also My Treehouse and Cindy's Dollhouse. Facebook. I had a doll that said Mama in 1963. Facebook. My favourites were my Gladstone bag doctor set and my nurse's set. I did become a nurse. Other than that, it was a real book from my grandparents every year after they considered me to be grown up enough. Facebook. I still have my Biffy Beans doll, which I loved. My Till post office set, Spirograph and Lego set were among my faves. Still love Lego. Don't remember getting anything I didn't like. Facebook. My best present ever was my Active Cindy. I got her for my 5th birthday in 1978. Facebook. Paint wheels, Spidermatic, Spidergraph, Rotodraw, Knitting Nancy. In the late 40s, early 50s, I had a tin plate Grenadier Guardsman. You wound the key at the back and he'd play his drum. I loved it. It was probably about 6 to 8 inches high. Facebook. When I was wee, I loved my post office set and China tea set and played for hours. I also remember getting a Silver Cross twin pram. Only thing was we had to share it, and one half was mine and one half was my aunt's who lived with me and was just a year older than me. Many a falling out we had. Facebook. My mustard coloured typewriter. Being an avid reader, I always fancied becoming an author myself. And this was the start. Alice. Never happened. Hated my Jack in the Box. It frightened the life out of me when the clown popped out. Facebook. We've had the same rocking horse since the 60s and it's been used by 4 generations. It's well loved and looked after. Facebook. I always wanted a doll's pram or pushchair but never got one. When I had my daughter, my mother gave her one. I played with it more than she did. Facebook. I wanted a purple chopper. I got a red shopper. I walked past it on Christmas morning. Facebook, OMG. I was a toy boy when I was little. My dad called me Jim. All I ever dreamed of was an action man. Every night I'd say my prayers. Dear Jesus, if you see Santa, could you please ask him for an action man? I even prayed to the Easter Bunny. Did I get one? No, I got stupid Tiny Tears. I hated it. I pulled its legs off and threw it over the neighbour's garden. I finally got one for my 21st birthday in 1976. Facebook. I had something I've never seen since I was very little. It was round, blue, and had an handle in the middle. Was a farmer with a pig under one arm and his other arm upright. There were pictures of animals all round the outside. You pulled a string and the farmer went round and stopped with his arm, pointing up at a picture. Then there would be the sound of the animal the farmer was pointing at. This was between 1966 and 1972. Facebook, Play-Doh. Facebook, Tracy for me. Her hair grew on my triangle scooter with big wheels. It was a belter. Facebook, my hubby's favourite toy was his scooter. Facebook, Tracy doll, her hair grows. I loved that doll. Facebook, Chippy Jumble for my 5th birthday. I love this. Facebook, I got a Tiny Tears doll from my aunt in America. It was the envy of all my friends as it did not come out in the UK. Facebook, I got a Tiny Tears for my 10th birthday in 1967. I had a teddy bear called Koala. Facebook, I had a teddy bear called Koala. I took it everywhere with me and I couldn't sleep without it. I had left it in the garden and my brother brought it up to me. The fur was all faded and he had a wee hole in his neck. I lay down and cuddled him and the big earwig crawled out of his neck. I screamed and threw him across the room. Mum put him in the bin and I never saw him again. Facebook. I love my Tiny Tears, still got her. I hated Kaplunk. I wanted Chippy Tumble, but Mum said it was a waste of money. Facebook. I always wanted Chippy Tumble, but never got one. Facebook. I love my Spirograph. Facebook. Scraps were always my faves. I had an Amanda Jane. Facebook. I had an Amanda Jane doll with changes of clothing and put together furniture. It disappeared, given away or thrown out when I went to college. Facebook. Just after the war I was sent a doll with rubber arms and legs. Her name was Carol. A boy called Colin Huff bit her finger off. He'll be 85 now if he's still alive. I'm sure I'll forgive him one day, but not just yet. Facebook. I still have my doll named Rosebud that I received in 1948. Facebook. My pop treehouse and Spit the dog. Facebook. I have a teddy bear called Teddy Bear. When my big brother, who's 7 years older than me, had a German exchange, a boy, Heinz Peter, gave him to me when he came to stay. I was about 6 or 7. I loved Teddy Bear. I called him that because Germans love beer. Facebook. Baby alive, I carted her everywhere. Facebook. So many lovely toys. My favourites include Tiny Tears, A Wendy House in the early 70s, Active Cindy, My Post Office Set and a Pippa doll. We had simply toys and we used our imaginations. I loved my little blackboard and chalks, first bike with stabilisers, Enid Blyton and Ladybird books and Camberwick Green jigsaw. Facebook. I used to love playing with the plastic cowboys and Indians. It kept us entertained for ages. My dad made us a big wooden fort to go with them. Facebook. Love my triangle bed, complete with mattress and bolster. Still have it. The box is tattered but it's well loved. Facebook. Tiny Tears doll that my parents got me, which I kept for years. Then a chopper bike, which I also got. Facebook. I always wanted a girl's world but never got it. I bought my daughter things I wanted when she was little. Facebook. I never had any toys or books, we were too poor. When I was around 14, 15, a young chap that I had a Saturday job with gave me a bridal doll. His name was Frank, the boy, not the doll. I'm elderly now, but I've never forgotten his kindness. Facebook. My best present was a Katie copycat and a red and navy windy house. Facebook. I always wanted a girl's world but never got it. I bought my daughter things I wanted when she was little. I also wanted a BMX but got a rally shopper instead, with a basket at the front. Not great for obstacle courses and ramps. I damaged the handlebars. Facebook. I got Pinocchio Pelham puppet for Christmas one year. I really don't know what happened to him. Loved my Facebook, loved my Katie copycat doll, early 70s. Also my doll's pram and my rally bike with a cream box at the back. I loved it and rode it everywhere. Facebook. When I was quite little, times were tough, and my beloved aunt made me a doll out of an old fish. Its head was stuffed and the rest of its body hanging down with a drawn-on face, and I loved it. Later, I had a teddy bear. They had a lovely porcelain doll dressed in pink, but my mother wouldn't let me play with her, so I sat her on my dressing table to look pretty. Facebook. Remember going with my mum to pick Christmas gifts for myself and my two brothers. I picked a bride's doll but never got it. One of our neighbours' daughters got it instead. That was nearly 70 years ago, but I've never forgotten it. I got a doll dressed with a raincoat and a rain hat instead. My mum. Mine was a doll called Chatty Cathy. It walked and talked and I loved it. I also loved my scooter, my hula hoop and my wooden top. My brother. My toy wrestling ring and toy wrestling figures were my favourite toys. I also had a Teddy Ruxpin which I loved. Facebook. I got a Mr. Freeze one Christmas. I really hoped that Santa would bring it. He did, but forgot the ice. That year it was thick as snow, so I used that instead. Facebook. I loved my three dolls, Elizabeth, Mandy Lou and Patsy. Facebook. Oh Julie, I lived on Alton Terrace until I was 11 and could tell you lots of toy stories. One of my first love was my Chad Valley Give a Show projector. The parents had to put a white sheet on the wall whilst I pushed slides of Peter Pan through what was basically a torch. I was sick for a Tressie doll, but I didn't get one. I did get a Cindy, with auburn hair, and I used to make her clothes for her. I wanted a watch, and my first one was a Timex. I can still, can still sing the TV advert, Ticker Ticker Timex. Facebook, love my Pippa doll and sweet April on a swing. I wanted an Evel Knievel, but wasn't allowed because it was for boys. Facebook, loved around and crossfire. Facebook, Tiny Tears, also a clockwork baby doll that crawled. Facebook, love my Cindy doll, never wanted Barbie. Facebook, I wanted a three-wheeler bike with the storage truck on the back, but I never got one. Facebook, I got dolls but didn't like them. I wanted a boy's toy doll like Action Man. I didn't like dolls. My favourite thing was Whip and Sock. I'm not sure if you can still get them today. I know museums have them. Before you ask, I'm not ancient, lol. Facebook, I wanted a chopper bag, but I got a chipper instead. I got a potter's wheel, never made anything other than a mess, lol. Got a pair of roller skates, and my mates pulled me along the street, running and holding my hands. They let me go and down I went. I got so badly winded, my mum threw them in the back garden and told me never to go on those death traps again. Obviously I did. Oh, I could go on and on. I had so many lovely things over the years. I was a lucky, spoiled girl. Facebook, hey Jacko Monkey, a friend. I always got dolls. Every weekend I used to get a doll. I gave them all to charity. Facebook, I remember as a Bramley lad living on the Warrels and playing on Bramley Park. My beloved toy monkey came everywhere with me. He was tattered and torn but with character. Almost human, I thought, when I was young. I shared my thoughts, my tears and my laughter with him. I took him to the park and was playing with my friends. Monkey loved the old roundabout in the middle and the slides, and of course the swings. I don't know what happened, but I recall running home for my tea, knowing I was a little late and would be in big trouble. Upon arriving home, I started screaming and crying and shouting, "Monkey, Monkey, he's still on the park." Mum placed my dinner in the oven and off we ran. Phew! Monkey was still there but giving me the evil eye. I can only imagine him saying, "I thought you'd left me for good." Monkey never left my side after that. The things you remember, lol. It just goes to show that kids back in the day didn't have much, but at the same time we had everything. We had our imaginations and our toys. Yes, we had TV. We didn't have we had TVs, but we only had 3 channels. We didn't have game consoles and other digital gadgets, unlike the kids of today. The end. Hope you like it, guys. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, please feel free to like, share, comment and subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook, please feel free to like, share, comment and to go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, peeps. Love yous. Bye.